Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' keys to victory in their Week 9 matchup versus the New Orleans Saints. Let's not waste any time. The first point I want to make in helping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New Orleans Saints in this upcoming primetime matchup on Sunday Night Football is going to be shutting down Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Now, it is not 100% confirmed yet if Michael Thomas is going to be playing in this game. It seems more likelier than not. I am making the assumption that he will be playing in this upcoming game, and if he does, stopping him and stopping Alvin Kamara, priority number one. Literally, I said this in a recent video talking about the matchups to watch. Alvin Kamara is priority 1A. Michael Thomas, priority 1B. Those guys are the New Orleans Saints offense. If you stop them, you have a lot better of a chance to win this football game. Hands down. And it's not like you can just trust a couple of guys like Lavonte David, Devin White, and Carlton Davis. No, you need the entire defense. I 100% believe that because they've got a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback back there throwing him the ball, and it can get really frustrating really quick if you are not able to sit these guys and stop them from doing what they can do. It can get extremely frustrating. We didn't see it as much with Michael Thomas in week 1 because Carlton Davis is very good at his job, but we saw it a little bit with Alvin Kamara. It was not the worst it could have been. I've seen Alvin Kamara have plenty of good games. He did some good things versus the Bucs, but it could have been a lot worse. We need to have a similar output in that game in terms of stopping Michael Thomas and stopping Alvin Kamara on the defensive side of the football, if not an even better job of stopping Alvin Kamara than what was done in week 1. And I know that the Buccaneers had a lot of problems in week 1, and they are a vastly different team than what they were in week 1. I think that they have cleaned up a lot of the mistakes that they made in that game 100%. So I expect a lot more of a different outcome here. I expect this to be a lot more competitive. I expect the Buccaneers to not shoot themselves in the foot as much with penalties and other mental mistakes and things like that. So this is going to be the number one priority for the Buccaneers. You've got to stop Michael Thomas, who is one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, and you've got to stop Alvin Kamara, who's one of the better running backs in the NFL, hands down. But point number 2 for the Buccaneers to potentially, have a better chance of winning this game versus the Saints is do play action passes more. Like, I don't know why they don't, and we've been talking about this for many weeks now, but the Buccaneers are very good at play action passes. And I will say, fair credit, the Buccaneers did start using more play action passes versus the New York Giants, and it worked out great. Keep on doing it. Maybe that was the turning point for Byron Leftwich. Maybe now he's going to say, you know what, for the second half of this season, I'm going to try some more play action passes because it works out really darn well for this offense. Part of the thing for play action is you do need to establish the run at least a little bit. So that could play a factor into this game if the Buccaneers can't get a run game going. But play action passes should be a must for this offense moving forward, especially with the weapons they have now, adding Antonio Brown, having Mike Evans, having Chris Godwin, having Rob Gronkowski, and that's not including some of the other guys that are there like Scotty Miller, Jadon Mickens, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, Cam Brate, among others. I mean, this team is absolutely loaded in terms of skill position players and weapons for this offense. And if play action passes are working for you already with the some of the guys that you've had, they're going to work even better now that you have even more reinforcements coming in and helping you on the offensive side of the football. So more play action passes, Byron Leftwich, please. The next point that I want to make here is going to be stopping short throws for the New Orleans Saints. I mentioned this in a recent video, but Drew Brees right now is throwing about 5.5 yards through the air per pass attempt. Tom Brady, I believe, is at 8.7 or 8.9. Drew Brees has been throwing a lot of short passes this year. It's not a secret. Michael Thomas, he has been out. That could be playing a big role in that. Emmanuel Sanders has missed a lot of time, as has Jared Cook. Drew Brees has missed a lot of his weapons, which could have affected the intermediate and deep passing game for him. But also, I think it's fair to say that Alvin Kamara gets his touches anyway. He's at 66 targets, I believe, this year, over 50 catches, over 600 receiving yards. I mean, he really does get the ball thrown a lot his way, which again, reiterate that point, you got to stop Alvin Kamara. But if you're able to take away that short passing game and force Drew Brees to throw intermediate and deep passes, I don't know if you have a better chance to win the game because it is Drew Brees. I still think that Drew Brees can make a lot of great throws when he needs to, but I think that it can hamper the Saints offense a little bit as they do rely a decent amount on short throws. I think that if you are able to take that short yardage, short throw game away to a certain degree, that can help a decent amount in terms of stopping this Saints offense. So that is going to be another very high key point there. And then the second to last point I want to mention here is attack with loaded weapons. I mentioned it just a second ago, but the Buccaneers have so many weapons coming into this game. It's actually ridiculous. You can't even have a Madden team that has this many weapons unless it's on Ultimate Team or something. You have Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. Those are just your wide receivers. And those three alone, I will say it again, you can't even have a Madden team with those three guys on the same team. It's absolute insanity. And then you factor in some of those depth guys like Scotty Miller, like Jadon Mickens, who Scotty Miller, has been doing some pretty darn good things this year, and Jadon Mickens came on strong last week versus the Giants. That's your wide receiver core, and that is a deep, very solid wide receiver core. Moving to the tight end position, you have Rob Gronkowski, who has 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games so far leading up to this game, and he is starting to look more and more like old Rob Gronkowski as time has been going on. Didn't get a lot of opportunities versus the Giants, but I'm sure the Giants accounted for Rob Gronkowski and tried to stop him a pretty fair amount. You also have Cam Brate, who can do some solid things when he actually gets out there onto the football field, Byron Leftwich. And then in terms of the running back room, you have Leonard Fournette, you have Ronald Jones, who have both been solid in terms of both running the ball and a little bit in pass catching as well. More so Leonard Fournette than Ronald Jones. But the point is that you have got weapons everywhere. This Saints defense cannot account for all of these weapons. They flat out can't. There's not many defenses in the NFL that could. In fact, I would argue that there isn't an NFL defense that could account for that many weapons consistently. Because if you double cover Mike Evans, then you have Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Rob Gronkowski, who are all getting one-on-ones, and then just boom, just send them, If you do double cover Antonio Brown, same thing, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, same thing, Rob Gronkowski, boom, send them, So there's so many different ways that you can send out this offense in terms of weapons and things like that. I mean, imagine a lineup where you have Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, and Chris Godwin out there. Now, I know Mike Evans has some speed, but those are, 3 of the fastest guys we've got on this entire team, and then you just send them out there. Like, that's going to be painful to defend. I don't care what defense you are. I don't care which defensive back you are. That's not going to be an easy thing to defend. So there's just so many different things that the Buccaneers can do now with this offense. I mean, Byron Leftwich has got to feel like a kid in a candy store. Bruce Arians is probably like clawing at the walls to restrain himself from calling offensive plays again. Like, there's so many weapons, there's so many things that this Buccaneers offense can do, and the Saints could be in trouble here if they don't capitalize and try and shut down as many of these guys as they can. So take advantage of just the absolute loaded weapons that you have with the greatest quarterback of all time at the helm throwing the ball. It's a potent offense, and I don't care, who you are, you have got to admit that this is a very potent offense. But then finally, guys, the last point I want to make here, and arguably, again, one of the most important points besides shutting down Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara is playing a clean game, specifically on the offensive line. I need to see the blocking improve from what we saw in week 1, and I definitely need to see the penalties improve from week 1. Same thing can be said for the defense as well. I mean, the discipline in that first Saints game in week 1 was not good. It was not good at all. Now, I mentioned this is a very different team from week 1. It's like night and day. The team has improved literally dramatically. It improved so freaking much, especially along that offensive line, and this is going to be their biggest test yet. This is going to be a true test of if that improvement is going to stick, because if they falter here versus the Saints, I could see a lot of guys, a lot of fans' morale just come crashing down again in terms of just how they feel about the offensive line. And I've told you guys, I am confident with 4 out of the 5 guys on this offensive line. We all know who I am very suspect about. But the point is that we need to play a clean game versus the Saints. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers need to play a clean game versus the Saints. Penalties, mental mistakes, those need to be kept to a minimum. Otherwise, you are not going to beat a team like the Saints. I don't care who you are. But overall, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments section below. What do you think about all of my points? And what do you think some of the other keys to victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in this upcoming game versus the New Orleans Saints? But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.